This program is designed to provide general information with regards to the subject matters covered. This information is given with the understanding that neither the hosts, guests, sponsors, or station are engaged in rendering any specific and personal, medical, financial, legal, counseling, professional service, or any advice. You should seek the services of competent professionals before applying or trying any suggested ideas.
Welcome to Behind the Scenes, for your half-assed entertainment news with no bullshit, with our hosts, the Baroness and Bear Fiordafor, only on Talk 4 Media.
Welcome to Behind the Scenes. I'm your host, the Baroness, Summer Helene, and we are on with my co-host, Snuggie McFuzzlebear.
Almost. We almost did it this week.
We almost did what, darling?
You almost got my name right.
Why?
But I like the nicknames. I do. Don't get me wrong. They make me feel happy and fuzzy and warm inside. But my name is...
Snuggie McFuzzlebear. You don't complain when you don't have pants on, and I call you Snuggie Bear.
This is a topic for another time, but I am the co-host, Bear Fiordafor. Welcome, everyone, to the show.
We have a lot going on in the world and in Hollywood.
Yeah.
Two major wars, of course, we all know about, still going on in the world. I think we've lost 1 million people now in from each side in the Ukraine and Russia.
Oh, I'm sure. Easy.
Which hats off, by the way, to Zelensky. That is the crossover between politics and Hollywood. This is a man that,
right.
Yeah, he came from Hollywood. He was an entertainer. He became the leader of the world, and he killed it.
Ukraine.
No. He is right now. He is the world's leader right now. Everybody loves him, except Trump and Putin. But that said, I'm looking at Donald Trump. I'm like, this is what you could have been. I'm just saying, it's not like you had to come from Hollywood and not do that. Kimberly?
Then again, well, also all Hollywood seems to be, kind of under investigation for Epstein going to islands.
Oh yeah, that's the whole thing. And then I saw Pam Bondi, who is your attorney. Well, you're attorney general.
No, she's not my attorney general.
She is. She's America's. She's America's attorney general. I know what her
title is, but she's just a lady with.
So for those that don't know, I hear clink clink in the background. I'm like, I can hear the plate clack.
Oh, someone's eating.
Yeah, but I will say, I'm not saying don't eat. I'm just saying do it quietly.
Right.
Now I will say with your attorney general, her one job is to look after people. And apparently, when they brought up the Epstein victims, she started talking about the Dow Jones.
Yeah, I know. Because she has no
response
response to that. Because she was probably instructed by people above her to say, "Hey, don't talk about Epstein."
She was also the attorney general in Florida when Epstein was operating in Florida. Unrelated.
Oh, isn't that interesting? Are we sure it's how unrelated do we think it is?
Oh, I think it's completely related.
Okay. Yeah, I would not think for a second that is coincidental, to be honest with you.
I certainly hope. I hope not. It would be far less entertaining if it was.
No,
all you guys are missing with all your conspiracy theories. No. All you're missing with all of your conspiracy theories is a Pizza Hut.
Right. Everyone thought for the longest time Pizzagate was the thing. Turns out it was a thing, but it involved everybody. It wasn't just
no pizza.
Democrats or Republicans. It was the whole collective, and no pizza. That would not have made it any better.
That is the most disappointing part, though.
I guess it means Pizza Hut's off the hook.
No, not really.
No, the CEO of Pizza Hut's in on this too.
I think a lot of people are in on it. I would like to see more bipartisan push towards, jailing people involved.
Instead of redacting their names, supposed to be to protect the victims, not protect the people who victimize them.
But that's it. You've got Bill Clinton, Bill Gates, Donald Trump. You have former Prince Andrew. And by the way, shout out to the United Kingdom. You are the only one that's doing anything about it. And he was, he's lost his titles because of his behavior, and now is being questioned about sharing information. So America,
he's being arrested not related to sex crimes, but related to giving Epstein.
You know what? They got Al Capone on tax evasion.
Information.
I just think it's terrible.
That's a good point. Yeah,
you had Pam Bondi sitting in front of the legislature, and behind her, all of Epstein's, or a large portion of Epstein's victims, and this woman's talking about the Dow Jones.
Yeah, I can't stand Pam Bondi.
I'd like to remind everyone, Nixon got off scot-free, but his attorney general went to prison, so this isn't looking good for Pam Bondi.
No, it's not, and nor should it, to be honest. She's not. She's defending these people. She's protecting them.
That's really the point, isn't it? America's become so divided that it's ridiculous. You have your right, your left, and normal people don't want anything to do with it anymore.
All I know is that if Luigi Mangione had not shot the CEO of that pharmaceutical company and instead was around right now to see all this happening, he'd still do it. I just think to somebody else.
No, he did it because of his issues
right?
getting
No,
medical
the treatment
care.
of his family.
It was really, really poorly done.
It was.
Though he is suing, saying the state and federal can't go after me because it's double jeopardy. So I think that's a very clever way of looking at it.
He's got a good defense attorney, that's for sure.
Well, and I think he's good looking. That makes a difference. America's very funny about that.
Scientifically speaking, like psychologically speaking, if you have an attractive person on screen and you hear you hear the newscasters telling you, oh, this person committed these heinous crimes, it is much harder for the general public to believe that because of their beauty.
It's called the halo effect.
Versus if they were just, some cave troll.
It really depends on who you're talking to. So right now there's this popular YouTuber called Cavicula, and he's an idiot.
So here's the thing. He's
idiot.
Really misguided, and he's leading a lot of people down a bad path because of his own insecurities.
That's what his problems are. Doing meth and hitting himself in the face with a hammer.
And steroids. But the point is, I don't think he's inherently a terrible guy. I think he's misguided. I think he doesn't understand I don't think he has good self-confidence.
Bear has a soft spot because he's so young.
It's not a soft spot.
He's like 19.
I don't think it's not a soft spot. I can just understand. Like, for example, I don't have an understanding of Andrew Tate. I think that guy should go fuck himself and die.
I'd like to remind everyone, every time we use bad language, we give money to the Boys and Girls Club of America, the Humane Society of America, and Free MMA.
We swear because we care.
The reality
I think that Cavicula has gone through some shit. He's got some terrible self-esteem. He's paying for double jaw surgeries. He's paying tens of thousands of dollars, and he makes tons more off the people that he claims to, ascend to his.
He's not even red pilled. He's black pilled. It's to the point with him. Level. He went to New York Fashion Week and
he was a model.
He was, and he saw, and Brett Cooper said hello, and she's been out talking nonsense, talking
right.
Poots about him for ages. She's not a fan, but she very politely said hello. People snapped onto that, and then we're talking about, oh, she wants him, she's into him, blah blah blah. No, because nobody could see a woman politely smile and it not mean she wants to take offense off.
And listen to this, by the way. Here's they were on a live stream together. This guy's a big streamer. Here's how he made his fame. And some girl at a party they were at walked up to him. These guys always complain about and this is why I think he doesn't understand why he's lost. These guys, red pill guys, black pill guys, always complain about how the girls don't come up to you. They don't come up and talk to you. They don't want you. They want this whatever mythical man to call Chad. This attractive young lady walked up to him and was like, "Hey, I thought you were staring at me, but you didn't come and talk to me. Are you interested in me? Because I think you're hot. I'm interested in you." And he's like, "No, I wasn't staring. I'm not that into you. You have this X, Y, and Z problem with your cheekbones." Because he's so they're lost up here. They need someone to help them be confident and be happy with themselves, and then socially.
Don't listen to Bear. He's just going to prescribe martial arts.
It's good. Oh my god, getting hit in the face and talking to people in a non-sexualizing way. Like when you're at the gym and this girl is kicking your legs out from underneath you and punching you in the jaw, you're not going to be sexualizing her. You're going to think, "Oh my god, protect myself," and then you guys can have a real conversation about it.
But yes, it would.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to yuck people's yum. That's fair. I'm just saying.
It depends on what you're into. I'm just saying it's different. Speaking of weird people being into weird things,
okay.
Michaela. So for those that don't know this,
is that the makeup chick?
Michaela, yeah, the makeup chick.
Got it.
Is getting a divorce.
I know she's married.
Oh yeah, she did a whole thing, made a ton of money off being married. In the middle of knowing she's getting a divorce, she's like talking to her audience, does the afternoon lighting, like, "Sit down. I'm getting it." Like, I don't know how far these parasocial relationships go, but you are failing. You are not engaging your audience to the point that they care if you have a relationship.
I gotta say, I don't think my audience cares about me. And so if I was to be like, "Hey,"
and you care, that's because you care about them.
Well, yeah, of course you have to care. I don't know why her audience cares, but no offense, I guess, to her audience.
So because she lies to them. So essentially, where you are emotionally invested and weirdly friends with so many of your subscribers and your audience, and you guys have like real, actual back and forth conversations.
Yes, we do.
She lies and then scams her audience. She's like the girl Jake Paul, where she scams her audience for a bunch of money, and then pretends she's turned over a new leaf. And that's it.
With Jake, he doesn't even address the controversies.
Yeah, that's smart. He's actually very don't ask, don't tell.
He does rug pull crypto scams and then just forgets about it and moves on to the next thing because it's not that important to him. He made his $400,000 and now he's out. There's also an issue with the FBI, but that was kind of unrelated to him.
I thought you were calling him Jake the Raper for the longest time.
That's because he did assault some young lady. So
I think it was a couple of young ladies that said he assaulted them.
It was one that we know of that had put out their own story about it.
I think he missed. I think he missed his calling. Like people
calling. What kind of calling?
Mega churches. People
pastor flying through the rafters.
That's it. People like Jake Paul and people like Andrew Tate, that like they are just a different version of the mega church pastor. The ones bleeding their audience for money. Like I love pastors.
And that's what
I love people. Exactly. Michaela is a mega church pastor. Yeah. These are just the new versions of that. Now, I love preachers, but I always tell people, so for those that don't know, I went to Catholic school. So you want Bible quotes, I got you. And one of the things that I always look at, so Timothy 32:3, one of the things that it tells you is you got to be poor, you got to look after your congregation, they have to be first. You are supposed to be providing for them, not them for you. So the guys that are out there in like Dior jackets and Louboutin shoes, like, really?
I'm about to say this. I'm wearing my Celine jacket, by the way.
Yeah, but I bought that for you. Like you do better
track jacket.
Yeah, but I bought.
You know, Adidas sells this for like $40 somewhere.
I like that one. You wear it and you shush.
I do love it. It feels very nice.
The point is,
if the person you idolize is, I think this is good. This ties into what you're saying. If the person you idolize is not looking back at you and thinking to themselves, what can I do for these people? And instead thinking, what can these people do for me? You are idolizing the wrong person.
I always look at it like this. You'll look at like Beyonce. People are going, is she? Yeah, I love Beyonce. They're like, they look at her and they're like, okay, was she groomed or is she part of the problem? You look at Kristen Bell. Right. Everyone looks at her and they're like, wow, she married bad. They look at the chick that married RFK. Same thing. There are certain women you look at and you're like, oh, I can't figure out whether you're a victim or part of the problem. Also, your relationship is gross. That's kind of how I feel about Jake Paul, about these mega church guys. Right. It's all the same thing. You find people like Oprah. She's got that preacher cadence. There is a cadence. So you all know our guest Angelique has it. There are certain people that can hypnotize you when they talk. They are wonderful. You find people like Angelique and Oprah that use it for good. Then you got the Jake Pauls, the mega church pastors, the people that are like, empty your money into me and God will return it. I have watched preachers here in America say, give me your electric bill and God will reward you.
There's a guy recently in a mega church who was on stage asking for very large donations and to get whatever sum he wanted. And he was calling out people who specifically he knew could donate 10,000 or more and weren't putting their hand up, not by name, but he'd be like, and if you're out there buying yourself a new Lamborghini and not giving back to the Church of God, then you should be ashamed of yourself. And
you can't do the voice, right?
I'm not trying to do the voice.
I'm just saying.
I guess I was like mock it, but that was one of his quotes. Like, you buy yourself new stuff, but knowing the Bible does say
if you give, it will be given back to you. It doesn't say buy the freaking preacher a Bugatti.
But that's just it. It's going into the preacher's pocket. Why do the mega church shouldn't even be a thing?
I was raised Catholic, so
the structure shouldn't.
My mom's Jewish, dad's Catholic. Reason my family can't be in line for the throne is we're not Church of England. The whole point is we're raised, priests take a vow of poverty. Vatican seriously failed on that. I'm just saying.
That's because no one likes to be poor.
But that's it. The whole point of religion is that. So I don't know. I think what people give back, they give back. But if you're a preacher, you shouldn't be making, $1 million a year. Your money should be going to help people if you're in a job that is designed to help people. And I can say that, I'm a person, I like money. I'm very good at making money. I wear a lot of diamonds, but I'm with somebody who he wouldn't buy himself that jacket. He wouldn't buy himself a pair of shoes. He gives all of his money back to his nonprofit because he's an actual believer in martial arts. He's got his own little cult thing going on. Martial arts is a cult.
Well,
I'm just saying.
I believe that it helps the mind, body, and the soul, and I know that it does.
So does religion.
It happen over and over again.
So does religion.
No, apparently apparently it takes money from you. That's what that does.
That's bad people.
Mine's free.
Okay, Angelique, you're gonna have to be the tiebreaker here. We're talking about Jared's cult. We're talking about mega churches. We are talking about a whole lot. You yourself have had a very big spread in the big cult that is Hollywood, from being on, starring on your own on a show to being behind the scenes. For those that don't know, Angelique,
superstar.
All the people we've had on the last few weeks are all Angelique's clients. She's been bringing them on. She also is Bear's publicist, and I'd like to welcome her to the show, Angelique Bates.
Hey guys.
Hello. So we are fighting about mega churches. What's your opinion? I figure let's start controversial.
I love it. Well, we already know there's a lot that's going on to the mega churches. I think a lot of them are nothing but scams. I agree. I believe they've took what the message should be, and a lot of them have turned it into profit. Just like there's always good things. If you have too much of a good thing, you start, adding bad energy or, bad aspects to it, it can turn negative, because, church started out being good, whatever religion you're in, but you always have those bad seeds. And I think that is what is happening with the mega churches, is nothing but a lot of bad seeds, get rich schemes. And you just have so many people that they legitimately, they want help. They want to believe in something other than what they should believe in. And they want someone to tell them what to do and how to do it. So that's why some are willing to literally give, their mortgage, give, their whole livelihood, instead of seeking what they're looking for inside themselves.
If y'all can tell me the difference between a mega, yeah, she said it perfectly. I was going to say, if y'all can tell me the difference between an MLM and a mega church, I would be thrilled. Make sure you are following Angelique. Tell me what she is best known for, and you can win a ride at Off-Road Rentals in Palm Springs, California. We also have a giveaway, which is a bag called All I Want Is Everything, which we have. We're going to be doing a giveaway there. So if you want to win a ride or a handbag, make sure you are following Angelique and tell me where you know her from.
Which
I know we're going to talk about it in the show, but I just always like to say
I could have sworn, by the way, from the tip of my hair to the tip of my toes, that we've had you on as a guest before, but I guess we haven't. This is your introductory show, so thank you so much for coming and taking the time. I was very excited when I learned that you were going to be our guest for this week. I guess the first thing I want to ask you specifically, because I know we don't always get time to sit down and just chat about stuff, is what got you into Hollywood, period? How'd you get your start and why?
My mother. So I didn't have too much of a say. So she put me in when I was 9 months old. My first gig was a Borax ad. I always crack jokes and I say that was my first nude project. Actually, my first and only nude project.
I like that.
9 months old. Oh, okay.
I like that. So you and Brooke Shields.
Right. Look, sporting my well, I think she was a little bit more naked than me, but at least I still had the diaper on and everything. But
you both started at 9 months. Apparently Brooke Shields used to give Michael Jackson shit for starting at 5. She was like, you started late. So you and Brooke Shields both started at 9 months.
Oh yeah, definitely. So it was definitely my mom. And pretty much I grew up in it. Once I did the Borax ad, I had a couple commercials. I had booked a national for AT&T during the Lou Ross Diamond marathon that he used to always have for the Negro College Fund. And that was back when they would have the different commercials separated. So they would have the, the minority commercial, and then they would have the Caucasian commercial. So the Caucasian commercial would air during the daytime. And if you were a minority, you would have to catch it like at midnight, 1, 2 o'clock. So I had booked that, and we would all stay up late just so we could try to catch my commercial. Sometimes we had luck, sometimes we didn't. So, I'm like from that era. And my mom had me in a lot of theater.
Jim Crow in television lasted much, much longer than Jim Crow.
Yeah, even I was shocked to hear that now.
No, it really, this went on until I think it really started to change about 2006, 2007, for those that don't know. This is not, we're just in the last 20 years.
That's fucking crazy to me.
Right?
Yeah. It was a norm to shoot different versions of the same commercial.
For different demographics. And even down, I'm going to say this, I love Paramount. Paramount's my parent company. But even when I worked for BET, which was a subsidiary of Paramount, I got in trouble when I was producing over there because they're like, it's too dark behind the scenes. I'm like, what the hell are you talking about? And their complaint was I'd hired too many Black crew members. I'm like, it's BET. Are you retarded? Like, this is what the hell are you talking about? But apparently they're really concerned because that means they couldn't distribute to certain groups because there weren't enough white crew members to make something considered biracial.
Yeah.
I thought they were being racist buttholes, just so you know.
Yeah.
It turns out they were.
It's interesting that you mentioned that because with Vanderbeek, Dawson's Creek, I had actually auditioned to be his girlfriend. So the script that actually made it to TV was not the original script that we auditioned with. So originally they wanted Dawson to have a Black girlfriend. They were
trying to make him look like he was from the wrong side of the tracks. So that's like a cheat code for like, he's got a Black girlfriend, he's in a Black crowd, he's tough. I'm like,
yeah.
Way to
like
be
the script,
racist with it.
Yeah, they were very much together. They were definitely going to be kissing and everything. By the time it got back to my agent, I was too dark. They wanted someone lighter, and they did not think America would be ready for Dawson to be in a interracial relationship. But look at the world now. Back then, though, they were really scared of that, and they completely rewrote that script. What ended up making it TV.
America definitely got better, and now it's getting worse again. Like one of the things everyone says, so I met Nichelle years and years and years ago. She was from Star Trek. I'm going to tell you all a story. And she had turned around to me and she said she hated Martin Luther King. I was like, I need a lot more context. And she's like, that son of a bitch. And I was like, okay. Very sharp woman. She said, I'm on Star Trek. I hate it. I hate this show. She said, but I wanted to leave, and I get this letter from Dr. King that says you're showing a future where Black and white people are working together, men and women, where people are integrated. It may not be important to you, but it's important to the civil rights movement. Please don't leave. She's like, that son of a bitch. How do you say no to that? She's like, so now I'm stuck on this stupid show. And she said, and then I kissed, James Kirk kissed Ahura. And they're like, that was the first interracial kiss on American television. She's like, and all she's thinking is, I just wanted to send him a letter that said, screw you. She said, so I wrote him this nasty letter. Then he got shot. So I couldn't send
Obviously
it.
Don't send the letter.
Yeah. She's like, now I can't send this letter. And she said, and all I wanted to tell him was you were right.
Right.
And she said, and I was so angry at him at the time, she said, but you were right. And she said, now, and she passed a few years ago. She said, now one of the things she saw was we talked about your show, and we talked about shows, especially with younger people, where there is a mix. And she never, ever thought that would happen because it was a future so far off that she was playing. So it was great for her to see this. And
that's great that I didn't even know that you guys talked about the show, because I actually met her at the All That Kamikaze reunion that we had at when Stan Lee was still alive.
Yep.
And that was my first time meeting her. And wow, just to even know that, that means a lot.
Hey, you're on her mind.
But you were, and she talked about by having a show like that where people were interacting, that wouldn't have come out when she was a kid. That's not something you could have seen. And so for her to have been so controversial, to have been protested because she kissed, Captain Kirk, to see all of this, to see a show where male, female, kids, Black, white had control and intermingled. Your show was a first of its kind like that. And it shocked even her.
I just want to take a second to point out that they thought that he wasn't ready for a Black girlfriend when you auditioned. But they had that kiss however many years before.
1960s.
Yeah. The world's not ready for anything until you put it in their face.
My favorite was when they turned around. They're like, I'm not ready for a Black president. When Obama was running, I'm like, he's not going to punch you in the face. You don't have to brace.
He's not going to punch you in the
face. It's not like you have to brace for it. I'm not ready for a female president. They said that when Hillary ran and when Kamala ran. We're not ready for it. I'm like, do you think she's going to bite you? Like, what are you bracing for? What do you think's going to happen?
It's interesting that you mentioned that. I don't really talk about much politics, but I will say this: when they always talk about, they didn't want a woman as a president, she was president for 24 hours. A lot of people don't even realize that, because the world did not end. So it's like she was the president, and what happened?
My thing was they turn around, they're like, what if she gets her period and starts a war? I'm like, she's 60.
Right, exactly. And again, you didn't even realize that she was president for 24 hours. It's when I got the show and the rest of my cast, we had no idea that we were making history. I say we
Really?
probably didn't realize until probably within the last 10 years, I believe, because it was just a bunch of kids having fun. And we were young. I think the youngest was Katrina Johnson. I think she was like 10, 11. No, she had to been younger. Well, I think she probably was 10 because I believe I was around 12, 13.
Mhm.
And everyone else
You
was
were written down as 11, 12, and the casting and start, and then it was 12, 13, I believe, when it premiered. Don't know if that's accurate. I'm just saying that's the media out there. And if it's not, go for it. It makes you
That's
younger.
probably it because we auditioned for so long. We didn't immediately just book it. I feel like we auditioned for like a good year because some of us didn't think that we had it. And and this is something that I told somebody. I said, when it comes to the nationalities, it gets even deeper and people's ethnicities, because then you have those that are like me. I'm Haitian and Bohemian mixed with Native American or indigenous. Then you have those that are Jewish. You have like the one is Dominican. We have all these different ethnicities, but when it came down to Hollywood, it's just like you have the black girl, you have the Latino girl, you have the white girl, you have the white boy, you have the two black guys. That was how they did it. So it was like they were still robbing us of what we really were. Because when there were kids that were watching us, they were just like, oh my God, there's another black girl that's on the show. And Kel actually said it at one of our reunions when they were doing the introduction. And I was just like, yeah, I'm Angelique, season 1, season 2 of the pilot. And he was like, nope, she's being modest. She's the first African-American female that was on all that. And it was when he said that, I was kind of just like, because it didn't register to me how big that was.
Right.
One, I didn't really watch the show. But then as the years started going on and as I got older, then when we start realizing what everybody is, they're just like, there were Haitians that were like, oh my God, I didn't even realize I was looking at another Haitian. If I would have known that, it would have even been even bigger for me. Because when you start thinking about the islands and you start thinking about where people are from, it's like, well, wait a minute, you didn't see that many on television.
No.
But they all put us under this one big umbrella, still trying to
well, it's trying to make you as appealing to as broad an audience as possible, because they don't want someone from Nigeria feeling left out. So they try and make it as broad an audience as possible. And I think by doing that, there is a lot of erasure.
And they let
without intent.
Yeah, trying to be ambiguous, it took away a lot of what makes
and that's it. Now, for you, I know you weren't stepping in to be the first of your kind. When you've got someone like Nichelle talking about you, when you've got these people talking about the difference you made.
Yeah.
Obviously, that's not why you were doing it. Mm-hmm. But at what point did you realize you were kind of kicking indoors?
Ooh, after I was released.
Are you kidding me?
I'm so serious. And it was long after I was released. It was after, being kicked all over the place and pretty much the industry trying to make sure I never surfaced again. And, the typical, a lot of child stars don't make it. So I'm like a unicorn. That's what somebody was saying. They were just like, it's very few of you that made it, especially with everything that I've been through.
Right.
It's funny, the industry, and I, from the production end, I can say I don't love when my child stars grow up and move on, because I'm trying to sell reruns. So if you grow up and move on, it makes it harder. And so from a very selfish perspective, I get why they're doing it. They're like, no, if people see she's grown up, moved on, changed, it's what happened to Shirley Temple. Nobody wants to see that child grow up because they're still trying to sell those same movies, that same image. You're very petite, you're very slim, so you can be sold much longer than most people as young still can. But it's not for most, but for most people, it's not.
Yeah, it's not.
In your case, how did you not go crazy? Like I love Lindsay. No, she was not okay. Like sweet woman. Glad she settled down, married in Dubai now. Lovely person. She was not okay. Paris, hot mess. And great woman, very kind, one of the nicest people you'll ever meet. Not doing okay.
Yes. I believe the blessing was in the rejection. I didn't see it like that back then, but being rejected by Hollywood based off of rumors that ended up, even though I went through real life stuff that was off camera, where everybody was being hit by the industry and, going through what you just mentioned, I wasn't, because, the industry turned their backs on me. And that rejection was a protection. So I didn't end up strung out on drugs. I didn't end up being ran through by the producers, even though some wanted to. They were trying to make me disappear. So while they were busy trying to make me disappear, a lot of the stuff that I went through was, pretty much dealing with, off the camera. Like I said, I was dealing with depression. I was dealing with alcoholism. I was dealing with abuse. I was dealing with real life stuff that there were no TMZs, there were no blogs to have a camera and follow me every which way I was going. So that's really what it was, because somebody said it. They said, how did it end up escaping you? And I was like, it didn't. It didn't at all. I just didn't have a camera in my face. Yeah. I just didn't have a camera. I wasn't on the blog. And because of what, the network did, and the people, the production, let me just say that, the production, the way they set it up in a way where people weren't trying to check for me. It wasn't people trying to check for me until social media came into play, and it gave power to the fans. The fans are who resurrected us.
Yeah. So what they wanted, the residuals on their show is one of the highest of children's shows in history. They didn't want what they called it the Mickey Mouse Club problems. And they didn't want that, which was Mickey Mouse Club. People got older, had their scandals. They had to pull it off air. They had all kinds of problems because of that. If you go back, you had Ryan Gosling, Justin Timberlake, Britney Spears, all came from kind of that Mickey Mouse Club era then, on the reboot of the Mickey Mouse Club. But because of some of the other people there, it actually had to be pulled off air. So they didn't want any of these guys moving on. Basically, Nickelodeon didn't want the Disney problem.
That's crazy that the numbers were higher, because we did not start getting residuals. We didn't start seeing them until within the last 10 years from streaming.
That's because you signed off on them. So the strikes that happened with the last, when SAG-AFTRA merged, the SAG rules started applying to AFTRA. You were originally covered by AFTRA, which meant you could waive your right to residuals, and it went to the producers instead. Not that I ever admitted to that, because I would not be allowed to do that. That would be breaking the Producers Guild code.
Right.
But if anyone looked into it, legally what you'd see is child actors could waive their residuals, or parents could waive those rights. When SAG joined with AFTRA, the Coogan clause started applying to you.
Yeah, and they got us. They got us because the way those contracts were, obviously, social media, the internet, what? Like, that wasn't even around back then. It doesn't exist, so you can't ask for it. So that was also how they had those contracts. It's like we were signing off, but we were signing off on stuff that didn't even exist. So by the time it existed, that contract was still covering that.
Yep.
That's fucking dirty. That's really dirty.
It was how it was done to everyone.
I don't care how it was done.
I understand. I'm not saying it's good. I'm saying it's how it was done to everyone. So like my Scream belongs to Not Scary Farm. I signed it away when I was 16. Still don't legally own my own Scream. It's how the industry has been forever. The only thing that caused some relief was the merger of SAG and AFTRA that created a situation where the SAG rules started applying to AFTRA, which meant residuals had to be given for streaming.
Yeah, and they SAG was like really fighting for a lot of us, and it got to the point where they would look to see how many times they would, run certain reruns, and it got to the point where they would stop at a certain number, so it wouldn't. So they would restart the clock, and they were watching that. They were just like, they keep stopping when it gets to this one number. But, once the streaming kicked in, they couldn't really control that aspect anymore. So it was resurrected.
Like
yeah, it was very, very cleverly done. And and by the studios, it was terribly done by you guys, but it was cleverly done. Unfortunately, there is a reason, the Coogan rule applies, because children were taken advantage of. Yeah. You very rarely see good parents in Hollywood. I very, very rarely see. Most people end up like poor Drew Barrymore. They don't end up. You have a good mother. Shirley Temple Black had a good mother. There are very few good mothers. I will shout out to my own mother. I was modeling at 16. Anyone looked at me, my mother was screaming jailbait. But I will say Victoria's Secret kept in that era, kept a lock on its girls. It didn't want them screwing around. It didn't want them doing drugs. We would go in a group, driven to an event, and then driven away. No one was going home with anyone because they were going for that. That was the, Adriana Lima, Miranda Kerr, like it was that era. And so they kept a lock on us like you wouldn't believe. Well, it is not that way now. It got bad.
Well, I heard. I'm gonna jump into this next piece actually because we're kind of already in that topic. Having gone through these kind of experiences, having been on the show and having gone through the aftermath and still staying in Hollywood, how do you think all this has kind of shaped you know who you are? And even greater than that, what kind of impact
haven't you shot anyone?
I was gonna say, what impact do you think you've had on the audience, on the people who watched and idolized you at the time?
I still say mine was more relevant, but fine, we'll go with his question.
Can you repeat your question?
Basically, how did these experiences shape you, and how do you think these experiences help to shape the generation watching you?
Well, the experiences definitely helped mold me into the person I am today. Especially resilience. That's one thing everyone always talks about.
Without her, there's no Raven Simone. There's nothing. Like nothing came next without her. Are you mad? Sorry. I can see the comments online.
A lot of people, I can't even see it. A lot of people say that I'm resilient, and that definitely came from the industry. Because of what I went through, when you go from being number one, the number one children's show, and you're one of the ones getting the main fan mail, and you go from being loved to not loved, and them pretty much trying to throw mud on your name and making it very hard to do what you have grown up doing and what you love. It definitely takes a certain kind of person. And like I said, a lot of us did not make it out. And I didn't get untouched. I was very much touched. I went through the financial aspect. I went through still staying in, a low income area, being on that show. People not understanding that, we never moved. I was still in the hood. And so, riding the bus.
So you're one of the biggest stars, kid stars in the world. I know they didn't pay you squat because I work for the company. And I love you, Paramount, never fire me. But I know what they pay.
Severely taken.
I'm just, it's Paramount. Duh. I know people like me wrote the contracts. We're assholes. But essentially, so you're not getting paid what a film star, a child star would be paid. You're not, getting paid Macaulay Culkin money, although his parents stole his. He's in the screwed by his parents category.
Yeah.
But you're living in a rough area, but you're internationally known. I mean, that's a very weird position to be in.
Yeah. And mind you, I didn't have cable, so I didn't know how big I was. And I would be on the bus.
Hang on, you're living in the ghetto without cable.
But also starring in one of
the biggest. It played in Australia. I watched it.
We were speaking languages we didn't know how to speak.
It's played all over the world, and you're in the ghetto without cable. Okay, I'm sorry. That's shocking.
Yeah, a lot of people don't know that. I would be on the bus and people would be baffled. And they're like, "You look just like this girl and all that." And I'll be like, "Really?" I get that a lot. And I'm just like playing it off.
So she's not copying to it. She's in public school.
Ashamed to admit that was you.
Well, I mean, they were kind of, the way they were coming at me was kind of like, should have been something that I should have been ashamed of, because it's like, you're on this show. They weren't saying it in a flattering way, so it's like you can kind of read the room and be like, okay, so they're either going to make fun of me or they're kind of like saying it like,
what the hell are you doing here?
Yeah. And mind you, I still wasn't watching the show. When I would be somewhere that had cable, I never really watched the show. I would turn it on in the beginning to see which artist was going to be on that episode. And I would cut it back on when it was time for them to perform. I never watched it. So I really didn't know what was happening. Also, the network wasn't giving me my fan mail. So I didn't even know that I was like this big thing. Like it was a show. And it was away from big stage.
They really wanted to keep you in a cage.
No. The publicists for the show are the ones that responded to the fan mail specifically from the kids, so they could control the image of the show and what was said.
Yeah, because I've had people
totally dirty.
I've had people tell me, "Oh, thank you for the picture." I didn't send it. So there was definitely a lot of that. But just so being put, like you said, that has to be an awkward situation, but it's also an unsafe situation.
Yeah.
Because you have this celebrity who's a minor now, because, you know, the network is pretty much like, we're done with you. We don't want anything to do with you. And we're going to make it hard for you to work. We're going to make it hard for you to even live. Now you're pretty much just trying to figure it out. But now you pretty much have been thrown back out into this world with these wolves that think you're rich. And they have all this access to you. So then you have the ones that are jealous. Then you have the ones that want to be like, oh, we're going to fake and act like we're her friend. Then we're going to have the ones that want to be with this person, whether they're sitting there trying to assault you or whatever. Like, I was sexually assaulted. That came from a fan.
Yeah. That's very, so a lot of people don't know that is very, very common. And actors, unless they are top tier, don't make money. People like me make money off them. We are not good people. The actors themselves really do not make money, and there isn't the protection there. There is a lot of sexual assault, and as much as people talk about it happening within Hollywood, there is no protection. You hear about actors being stalked, shot, followed, assaulted, because especially now with the internet, everyone is so accessible.
Yes. And someone is so accessible, especially with the internet. Now remove the internet and everything. There was no cameras, there was no nothing. So just imagine what was happening without all of that. And so now you have depression, you can't work, and let's keep in mind you're a kid on top of it.
Right.
Going into adulthood. So, you know, there's a financial aspect. Then when you do try to get a job, because I used to work for a well-known company for a good decade, loved it, but I ended up starting to have to work stock because I couldn't be on the floor because I would get mobbed by fans. I remember, and you know what? I think this might have been when I started noticing the show might be a little bit bigger than I thought. It was these it was these Asian kids. I will never forget. It was a school, and they were over here in the States, and they were walking by, and our wall was glass. It was a glass wall, and I'm standing at the register, and all of a sudden I look up, and it's a school of Asian kids with their face plastered up against the glass. And they're pointing at me because I'm the only one that's standing over there. And I'm standing at the register like, what is going on? Like, oh my God, my manager's going to come out. Like, I'm going to get fired because, you know, and they're just like, oh my God, oh my God. And they're pointing, they're just like face plastered. My manager ends up coming out because he's trying to figure out why is there a school kids outside the class.
Trying to break into his building or something.
Yeah. So the teacher ends up coming in. And no, it's a kid that comes in and says, are you Angelique Bates? Now, I'm baffled because why is this Asian child coming and asking me am I Angelique Bates? And I was like, yes. And he was like, okay, walks back out. They lose it. The teacher comes in. Now my manager, because my manager's trying to figure out, hey, what's going on? I'm like, I don't know. They come in, they're like, oh, they're fans. They watch all that. The manager never knew. So on my resume, I put that I worked for Nickelodeon, but I never said how I worked for Nickelodeon. So they discovered that day that I was actually the girl from all that. They're like, yeah, go take a picture and all this.
I'm glad they're cool about it. That's
so
good.
Yeah, thank God. Thank God, because I could have gotten fired. But it was so many of those that was just like, okay, so when you're trying to get a regular job, then you get the ones that are cool. Then you get the ones that are like, well, why are you working here? Like, da, da, da. Then they want to stalk you. Then you have the ones that started calling the jobs. So I couldn't work a regular job. Now you're dealing with, alcohol. I was an alcoholic. Thank God I was able to shake that. The crazy thing was I was an alcoholic before I knew there was a label for it. So that's why I said things actually
escapism in Hollywood is huge. The fact that you come from, you have a stable foundation personally is the only reason you can shake it. It's the people without that personal stable foundation that can't.
Yeah, my best friend, rest in peace, she actually saved me because I was suicidal. And she made me promise that I wouldn't do it again. And she was actually she was that strong. Like, she made sure, she was like, don't do it again. They had rushed me to emergency and everything. And they had actually said that I was 2 pills short of succeeding. 2 pills. And if you know anything about pills, normally you're supposed to take 2. And I had originally bought that bottle because I had a headache. Like when I bought it, it wasn't for that. And this one day, I took the whole bottle, and I was 2 pills short. So if I had had those 2 pills, I would have succeeded. And from that point forth, I was just kind of like, you know what? Clearly, this is not supposed to happen. I'm gonna stop playing with it. And I didn't consider myself playing with it, but I'm one of those people that, let me stop before I end up having a bigger situation. Let's just say I'm pretty much handicapped for the rest of my life now. And like now, I still didn't succeed. So I was like, let me just figure out what it is I need to do with my life. And I started reevaluating a lot of things, and I ended up having my first child. That will slow you down real quick because unfortunately, not everybody takes parenthood serious, but I do. And
you're one of the best
you're an amazing mom
in this industry.
You are. And I will say that is definitely, parenthood is definitely the thing, at least for most people, that you're like, oh, I don't get to be a selfish asshole anymore. Now I actually have to be here and do stuff.
Yes. So they kept me. They kept me here.
Good.
And so through that process, I was able to grow and heal. And that was definitely a thing, because I wasn't healing from the aspect, because it's like, it's horrible what production is, horrible what happened in my childhood. But this, like, once you hit a certain age, it's like, okay, that is not being insensitive, but it's like, okay, so what are you going to do about it now?
Yep.
You can't cry over spilled milk. So I stopped crying over spilled milk, and I started pretty much healing and reclaiming what was taken. And even, when people say how, gain what was taken from me, I don't even want what was taken. Y'all can have that, because what's forward is so much better than what you took. Like, it's nothing. Like, go ahead, keep that. Hope you're enjoying it. So that's, that also helped with the company, with co-founding Melting Pot.
That's what I wanted to ask next.
To move into. I like that. I always tell people, it's one of the things, I did a whole TED talk on, failure and losing and having things go wrong. The ability to get up is the most important thing. And one of the things I said in that was, the best thing about your childhood, my childhood, and his childhood, it's over. Now what you do with your life is up to you. And so many people cannot get to that point. And they didn't have half the hurdles. I mean, you had a lot of hurdles. You had a lot of things thrown at you. And you just went, okay, I'm going to bootstrap this. Like, I'm getting up, I'm getting off, and I'm getting off this mess that I'm in, and I'm out. And very, very few people can do that. I really respect that.
I'm actually afraid to go into this next question, because I see the time right now. I'm like, any minute now, our special engineer is going to be like, time, get the
Melting Pot PR.
Yeah,
I promise we are definitely going to have her
we
on
need
again.
To know.
I definitely want to have you on again, because I was really enjoying this, and comments are crazy. I'm like looking over at them. So we definitely got sidetracked. Tell everyone very quickly about Melting Pot.
Melting Pot Management and Public Relations. I co-found with Shannon Day. I created the company because I call it being the underdog. Some people don't like that title, but when the industry tries to label you as an underdog, it's not just me. There's so many people that are gifted, so many people that, because they weren't used anymore, they didn't have, any use for them, they just discarded them. There are so many people that have journeys that they're supposed to be on, and have been stripped of what they love to do, and they were exposed to things that they shouldn't have been, and they had no protection. We went from being protected to not protected. But I guess you could say we probably never really were. It was an illusion that we were protected. So my company pretty much...
think they were protecting you. I think you just happened to be on lot, and the lot was protecting the producers, and you just happened to be there. I mean, I hate to put it that way.
No, that's exactly it, because it was an illusion. It's what we thought, So if you think about it, they never really took the protection. It was never there in the first place. But that's a whole nother show. The company pretty much, because of what I've experienced, I know the highs and the lows of it. I know who's full of crap. And I can see right through it. So I pretty much protect my clients. I am for them what I didn't have. So I help brand them, I help put them on their paths. And for some of them, I actually help them realize their potential, because some of them are they're so wet behind the ears, and they're just like, oh my gosh, it's, shiny lights, and this is so amazing, and this and that. I'm like, skirt. So do you have a game plan? You don't? So this is what we're going to do.
I like that. You're making sure that, they're brand new and they don't end up on Epstein Island, basically. That is good.
What I like the most about what you do is it's still very much a level of shut up and do what I say, but you're very good at making them feel like it was their idea.
Really? Yes.
Yes.
Very, very much.
Yeah. I let you be involved in the process.
Well, I think, now, when are you going to have a memoir come out?
Oh my gosh. You know, everyone keeps on asking me that. You know, when I find a good publishing team, that's really what it is. Like, I just need a good publishing team and someone to transcribe it. Like, honestly.
We got a book of his being done. I'll hook you up with the same people. Do it.
That's really what the delay's been.
Do it. I would read that. I would love that. I will absolutely do, the conversion to television for that. I'm just saying. But in all seriousness, that book and your life, it's inspiring. And there are very few people that have had as many high highs and low lows as you had, and are still there fighting.
But not to mention the amount of interest that people would have in just you being from the show and you being from the entertainment world. You already have an embedded audience.
Mm-hmm. Well, once it comes out, we got to throw on SNL because it was like, that was just SNL for kids. Yeah, I love that.
Yeah, and Living Color.
Tell me where everyone can find you, because we're at the end of the show and I want to have you on again because I want to definitely get into more.
Okay, you can find me on Instagram, Angelique Bates. You can find me at angeliquebates.com. Do not follow me at TikTok. It's been hacked for over a year. Yeah, that's pretty much it.
Call Alexis. She knows how to fix that.
Okay.
All
right.
Guys, make sure you are following her. Thank you very, very much, Angelique, for coming on. And thank you for all the people that we've had on lately that you guys have liked. These are all Angelique's clients. I promise we will have her on again and actually finish this because we have 800 questions and we got through one. We've done super well. Speed through the others. We'd like to talk about it. Make sure you are following her. Make sure you are following Melting Pot. And Angelique, thank you very, very much for joining us.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Guys, thank you. We've come to the end of the show. I'm the Baroness. We are on with my co-host, Snuggy McFuzzy Pants.
Baddest fucking bear in the cage.
Snuggle McFuzzle
There's not a lot of guys named Bear in the cage.
No, most of them are in Palm Springs.
I don't have a high amount of competition.
No, most of them are in Palm Springs.
Unfortunately, so am I, but not for the same reason.
There's a guy named Cub, but he'd choke you out in like 10 seconds.
See, but his name's Cub. Okay.
Which means you got beat up by a little bear.
We'll see you next week.
Good night.
This has been Behind the Scenes with the Baroness and Bear Fiorda. Only on Talk 4 Media.